What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. I get this email from an individual. I'm going to do name withheld because he didn't say whether he wants his name. He didn't even say whether he wants in the video or not, but it's easier for me to say this than it is to type it all up because I fucking suck at typing. So, he's talking about doing a show. He said he had a show 2 weeks ago, and after every show, he usually does like a little mental break for a couple of weeks as far as like eating foods. He's not paranoid about getting fat, etc., because it's after a show. Your body just soaks that shit up. But then, after a couple of weeks, you got to tone that shit down or you start to get fat. He said this year, post-show for 2 days, he let himself eat whatever he wants. Then he get back to cardio and eating his clean food. Same thing, same meals that he was eating, doing less cardio, which is essentially, it's kind of a form of starting to reverse diet if you go back to what you're doing, although he already cut the cardio back probably a little bit too much. He said he finds he's stressed constantly thinking about meals, food, calories, fats, carbs, proteins. And he feels like he's constantly counting this shit and it's driving him insane. He doesn't know if he should just follow the diet and not worry about having little things here and there when he wants them, or should he just stick to or he should just be laid back about it, or is the off season a time to grow where he should be monitoring his body, worrying about weight, doing all that stuff is driving him insane. He's not really sure what to do. He wants some advice. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now that if you have a goal and it's honestly you want to accomplish this goal, and it's seriously something that you want, and you want it bad enough, you won't give a shit about those little things like Pop-Tarts that you can't have, or Pixie Sticks, or fucking, Jolly Ranchers, whatever the fuck it is you want. You're going to care about gaining the muscle that you need for next year. You're going to care about putting the right things in your body to get the most out of your training, to be able to push as hard as you possibly can, to get the best out of your recovery, if that's what you really want. Now, a lot of people just want to compete. They're not really interested, like, I want to improve, but they get to the point where they're doing their show or whatever, and they don't accomplish their goal. They're like, my goal is to turn pro this year, and they don't even come close to turning pro. They don't even do the qualifier to be able to turn pro. They don't even win that. And they look back, and their physique hasn't really changed that much because they really only stick to things for 12 weeks leading up to the show, but the rest of the year, they're fucking off. Although they're somewhat following something, they're not doing what they need to be doing to make those changes. And you have the other people that are very strict, and they're monitoring their body weight. They're keeping their fat level low on their body fat. Not their fat level in the diet, but body fat low. They're increasing lean mass. They're making sure they're recovering. They're counting macros to make sure that things don't get out of whack. So if you're not counting your macros, then you need to start counting your macros when you go to diet. And when you start counting and changing things, it could be too much. Okay, so again, it depends on your goal and how bad you want it. And if you want it bad enough, you're going to do what you got to do to accomplish that next goal. There were many years where I came off stage and I gorged myself for a week or two. There were times where I did an anabolic rebound. There were times that literally the next day after the show, I had something to eat that night before, like when the night of the show, like after the show I ate. The next morning I had a protein shake. That's the first thing I wanted, protein shake. And I would take Sunday off, and Monday I'd be right back in the gym training. And my training was no less intense on Monday than it was the week before the show. It was like, shit, I only have a year left, literally a year from this date or 8 months from this date or whatever it is. There's no time to slack. You'd be surprised how fast that time goes by, and if you're fucking off for any of it, you lose that time. Why would you possibly want to half-ass it or three-quarter-ass it, I guess, because I train hard, three-quarter-ass it for a certain period of time, get on stage, say, I made some improvements, but could you have improved more? Fuck yes, you could have improved more. What makes me think that? It's the fact that you didn't put the right amounts of certain things in your body to fuel the workouts the proper way to get as much as you possibly could. You didn't get enough rest because you're like, hey, it's off season, so I'm going to go out with my buddies and have beers and stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning and get effective training the next day. There's two different types of people. There's types of people that do it as a hobby, and they want to enjoy bodybuilding, but they want to enjoy what they do in their off season, or even enjoy during season. They want to make it all about fun. And there's those other ones who are ultra competitive and say, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. I am going to fucking put my nose to the grindstone, train fucking year round like it's the last fucking time I'm ever going to train. I'm going to stick to certain foods that I know my body's going to utilize best. Okay, not this whole it doesn't matter if there's preservatives and all this bullshit in it and chemicals, because the chemicals do affect digestion. They do affect the way your body works. They do affect mineral balance. They affect all those things. So you say, I'm going to do these things, and when the time comes, I'm going to, make sure I stick to my diet, don't miss cardio sessions, and I'm going to give it 110% of what I got. So when I hit that stage, I know I give it 110%. There's nothing else I could have done. I may have made a wrong call somewhere, but it wouldn't be a call due to being lazy and not focused. It would have been a call to this was what I was trying to do and my body didn't respond to it because I didn't know my body wouldn't respond to it. That's different than fucking off the whole time. We got people that literally stepped on stage and they look great. They're like, fuck, looking back now, I didn't accomplish my goal, but I wasn't really tracking this, or I wasn't really paying attention to that. Or when I went to the gym, I wasn't really training. Some days I went in, I didn't have it, so I just kind of, didn't push it. I remember there were days that I went in there, I was like fucking low on sleep, working 4 jobs. When I walked through that door, all that mattered was one set at a time to put maximum effort into each set to get everything that I could out of there. And, even in between sets, if you had to fucking lay down like you were going to die, lay down before you get to that. But when you're going to do that set, you're going to give it 100% because I knew before the time comes, I'm going to have to dieting down again, and I need to make those improvements. There were shows that were less than a year apart, which is even more stress to try to make those gains and make improvements in a smaller time. There's no time to flake. There's no time to slack off. There's no time to half-ass it or three-quarter-ass it or whatever because it's coming up and it's going to be there soon. And my advice to you is if you're really, really into this and you're interested in doing this and you want to do this, your goal is to, get better for next year, and that's a serious goal that you're serious about, do a little bit of soul searching. Look deep into it and say, look, am I willing to sacrifice? Because to be great at something or even be good at something or even be your best, you may not win, but you're being your best. It takes sacrifice in other areas of your life. That's in everything, whether it's business, bodybuilding, relationships, it's everything. You have to sacrifice other things. Is it worth sacrificing those other things to attain the goal that you want so bad? Now, I can tell you from her first-hand experience, 20 years went by like that. It was like a blink of an eye, and 20 years went by, and all those shows prepping for, all those years, off seasons, all that stuff went by so fast that I'm like, holy shit, like I can't believe that, shit, did I do everything that I possibly could? Some years I did, some years I didn't. Some years I didn't know I wasn't. Some years I thought I was, some years I didn't know it. But I look back now and say, hey, for what knowledge I had and what intensity I could put in, I gave everything that I had, and I may have made wrong decisions, and I experimented with things, and I did different things, but there was never a lack of effort. There was never a lack of focus. There was never a lack of willpower. It was self-indulgence. There was never that stuff that was uncalled for. No missed workouts, I think, literally up to this date. 24 years I've been working out. I could probably count on my hand times that I have missed workouts that weren't planned. And usually those are being so sick that I had a fever, or the gym closed early and I didn't know about it because I'm stupid and didn't pay attention for a holiday, and stuff like that. But literally, out of 24 years, maybe 5 workouts that I missed. That's focus. That's determination. That's doing what it takes to try to progress and be the best that you can be. And if you're not willing to do that, that's cool too. You just do it as a hobby, you enjoy it, but don't expect to get to that next level slacking off, because that's not. You may reach higher and higher levels, but get your ultimate level and get to that ultimate goal and have your ultimate physique. You got to focus. You got to pay attention. You got to stay on track. And you can't flake under any circumstances, because next thing you know, this whole time is going to be gone, and you're going to be saying, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. When it's over, there's nothing you can do about it. Bios3Training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog, and we're trying to get that sleeve up. But whatever it takes, bicep, and we're out.